Hello, I'm Hal Ottaway with the Wichita Postcard Club, and it's time once again for a postcard of the week. We're here and we're going to also ask you to please like us on Facebook and subscribe. Click the little red button that says subscribe when you go to YouTube. That'll be great. Today's postcard is a printed postcard of the Hollywood Canteen on Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood. And this is of interest to me because it's from the World War II time frame. And I started looking into this a little bit of the history and wanted to share that this location on Sunset Boulevard was an old stable, a place where they kept horses at one time. So it wasn't a fancy Brown Derby type venue, but it became a large area covered and everything, and probably air conditioned or at least comfortable enough where people could congregate and meet. But they would come there in the evenings, say like from 7 to midnight, and on weekends a little bit longer time. And they were asked to stay maybe only an hour and then leave so that other people that were lined up out at the door could enter. But it would be a place for servicemen to see some of the Hollywood people that, not just the actors and the actresses, but people that maybe were writers, or maybe they were producers, or maybe they were stagehands in the Hollywood industry. But it would give them a chance to mingle and to be with some of these Hollywood starlets. Also, the Hollywood people like Bob Hope and so forth would be there and maybe be washing dishes or maybe be serving coffee, that sort of thing. It was the idea of Betty Davis, an actress, and the actor John Garfield to start this Hollywood canteen. And they started it actually in 1942 in October. This lasted for 3 years, and finally the war was over, and their big finale, the last night it was opened, was Thanksgiving 1945, which would have been in November 1945. But it had a lifespan of about 3 years. It was a famous place to go, and if you were stationed and had a leave from your base, then the Hollywood Canteen might have been a real fun place to go for a little bit and to mingle with the stars and to see people. Just everyone was there. Bob Hope, Bing Crosby, Roy Rogers, the Cowboys, just lots and lots of people like to be seen, like to be a part of that. Warner Brothers even made a movie called The Hollywood Canteen in 1944. You may want to look at that on Google or whatever you do to see movies. But this was a neat place, and this postcard kind of documents it nicely because I noticed it was signed on the front by William Bendix. And he was a Hollywood actor, a character actor, and I'm sure some of you, if you're my age or younger a little bit, then you'll recognize William Bendix from this picture, and you could go Google him and find out many stage productions and so forth where he participated. But this was autographed by William Bendix, and I turned the postcard over and it said, "Dear Bernice, here is a postcard for you. I got to see Lena Horne, Betty Davis, and lots more, but could only get Bendix's autograph. Lots of love, Alan." And it was not mailed, so I'm pretty sure he was slipped it into an envelope and then sent it to Bernice that way, and so to protect it and give it some substance in the mail. But normally I'm pretty fussy about condition, But this card, if you see it up close and everything, you'll notice it has a number of creases. But that, after all, was probably even before Bernice received it. You know, he would have got it autographed and put it in his pocket and gone on back to the base that night, and then finally mailed it to Bernice a little bit later. But it's also neat that William Bendix signed it with a pencil. How many people sign things today? We all have Sharpies or the big silver felt tip Sharpies to sign things. But here, William Bendix used a pencil. And the other alternative back then in the 1940s was a fountain pen. And that had all sorts of problems. If it leaked, if it ran out of ink, all of that sort of thing. So this was signed in pencil right on the front and made a nice souvenir for him. The I've already told about kind of how the Hollywood Canteen was founded and how it ran, and it was also kind of built a little bit off of the stage door canteens in New York City and later in London and in Paris. And those were manned, and women, say, by actors, the stage, the music theater and that sort of thing there in the big cities. But this was the Hollywood version. There was the one and only, as far as I know. And this postcard is something that was printed and was given out to servicemen free, I'm sure. And so it was a nice souvenir to take home. It's not rare. There are lots of them. But maybe William Bendix autograph does add some interest to this one. Well, that's it for this week, and thanks for coming, and look forward to seeing you next time for Postcard of the Week. Goodbye.